Hi everyone, thank you again for joining me on my second day of my 30 days drawing challenge. And apparently today all we're doing is doing spheres again, cutting half, but overlapping, which seems quite simple in itself, but I guess this is to build a foundation from day one without stepping too far from the first lesson. And typically I would take a lesson, do the base, and then apply it to a particular piece of work. But when the lesson is this simple, I guess you just have to build on it a little bit from what the lesson is. And as you can clearly see, I'm accidentally scribbling on the page with my palm again, as well as not being very good at drawing perfect circles, but I guess that's to be expected when you're out of practice. So I'll probably just try and sketch them a bit freehand instead of just drawing circles with my wrist. And I'll just use my eraser quite a lot to get them to the correct form. I guess that one looks okay. They don't all have to be the same size after all. But I'm just going to draw a bunch and work with whichever ones look best. And I'm not entirely sure what kind of angle you should be dissecting them at. So I'm just going to play around with a couple of different angles and even practice 3 different spheres overlapping as if they were all stacked together, and hopefully I can give off the impression that it's more 3D and less flat, which I guess this is what the lesson is trying to teach you. So what I just drew there on the left is what my typical drawing style would be. And now to make it look like they're overlapping, we have to remove some of the lines so it's not entirely see-through and it gives a bit of depth. So because the one on the right is slightly bigger, I'm going to choose that one to be the front-facing sphere. And I know it looks a bit messy, but I have a feeling this is going to be my style moving on. It's a bit chaotic, but I think it suits me quite well. But I guess we will see if it still applies with the lessons moving forward. I'll probably move forward with it because I find it the easiest, and any mistakes you could just use the excuse, it's my style, and it'll work out, I hope. As I've been made aware in one of my comments, the application I'm using, Krita, is actually a desktop app ported over onto mobile devices, and that explains why there are so many shortcuts that I'm not used to that can't easily be activated with the touch of a screen. So I think I'll have to invest in a keyboard and just have all of the shortcuts written on a piece of paper next to me, because I will never be able to remember all of those shortcuts. But if I do that, I think it will leave a lot more room on the page, because switching pens and undoing is going to leave a lot more room that I currently have filled up on the right hand side of the screen. So I'm hoping that will make the viewing experience a lot smoother. So I guess I'll start doing that tomorrow. And apologies again just for rambling on. I'm doing the voiceover of my drawing I did half an hour ago as I walk my dog. So if you hear any wind or cars or my voice shaking, that's because it's still pretty cold over here. And looking back to my first 2 spheres, I think they turned out pretty good. They look 3D at least, and you can clearly see that one is in front of the other. So even though it looks quite simple, I think it gives off the desired effect. This one, not so much. The circles are a bit wonky, and the lines aren't the greatest curves, so they're not all going to be winners, but the important thing is we try. And now over to probably the most difficult of the ones I'm going to attempt, and that is one sphere resting on top of two other ones. I guess there's a third one behind it, but obviously you wouldn't be able to see that. And again, the spheres look a bit wonky. There were the little licks on the top of circles where I finished drawing them, which obviously would not give the impression of a 3D shape, but that's why they made erasers in the first place, because you make mistakes. And I think that looks slightly better, if not still a bit wonky. And the real difficulty here will be how to apply different colours and different values to shading. And because I have no formal training on this part whatsoever, I'm just going to wing it, and hopefully it looks okay. But you can let me know. And I think tomorrow's lesson will be spheres again, but it will also be a lesson in perspective, because we will be drawing a long chain of circles connected to each other, leading all the way back to the back of the row. So they'll be getting smaller and smaller, and we'll be using depth of field, I guess, but you'll have to stick around until tomorrow to see if that's the case. But again, I'm defaulting to my sketching style because you can see that it just forms the shapes a bit better. And by the way, what kind of video length would you guys prefer? These tend to be clocking in at around the 10-minute mark, but I'm always finding myself running out of things to talk about. So if 5 minutes is a bit better for people's attention spans, I'm happy to either actually start editing my videos and doing cuts. I could speed them up a bit, or I can just rush drawing the things, which probably isn't the best option. But please let me know what you think. I still consider this quite a new channel, even though I've been doing this for just over a year, but I've still got quite a lot to learn about making videos, so please be patient with me. And now I'm just going to attempt to colour them, each half a different colour, and hopefully that will increase the impression of depth. I'm not that into colour theory yet, but one thing I do know is that opposite ends of the colour wheel tend to complement each other. So I'm just going to go for this quite timid blue colour and match it with a bit of an orangey colour. And yeah, it still looks pretty rough around the edges, but these actually look like 3 Pokeballs clustered together, so I'm quite happy with the final result. And hope you are too. Let me know if you think I could improve in any way, because as much as it is a simple exercise, this is where you can pick up bad habits and form really strong foundations. Anything I learn now will stick with me with the rest of my drawing career. So if you can give me any advice, I'll take it to heart, practice it, use it in future videos, and credit you, I guess, if that's how it works. But everyone who's been commenting so far has been really appreciated. I know there's not a lot of you right now, but it means the world to me that some of you are watching and are willing to help, even with the small things, because in the end I want this to be quite a strong community where we can help each other, learn from each other, and hopefully fail and move on from that failure together to all become really competent artists. And if things go well, I might even start doing cooking videos as well. I absolutely love to cook. And who knows what else could be. I'm into my sciences and my puzzles, so I could easily add those to my different kinds of videos. This last one turned out pretty well. I'm pretty proud of it. And as always, thank you everyone for watching for my second day of my 30-day challenge. Hope everyone has a good day, and see you all tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.